Thank you for joining us here at the Centre for Cape Breton Studies at Cape Breton University. Called the best kept secret in Celtic music by John Allen Cameron, Dwayne Côté was raised in Cape Breton in a family deeply rooted in all aspects of Cape Breton, Irish and Scottish music traditions. Dwayne began playing Cape Breton fiddle music at the tender age of 4, learning from both his mother, a renowned dancer, instructor and performer, and his father, the late Gordon Côté, a celebrated Celtic fiddler and teacher. Dwayne has enhanced his music skills at the Royal Conservatories in Halifax and Toronto, and is an accomplished composer and instructor, teaching at many fiddle camps and universities. He has performed with countless celebrated artists and plays everything from traditional Irish jigs to the finest classical compositions for audiences both locally and abroad. So stay tuned for conversation, great tunes, and more as we celebrate Cape Breton's living Celtic culture. And welcome. My name is Dawn Beaton, and thanks for joining us here, tuning into the Suas E podcast for the Celtic Colours International Festival. We're here today with the lovely and extremely talented Mr. Dwayne Côté. Hi, Dwayne. How are you?
I'm good, dear.
Good to
see you. How are you
doing?
doing?
I'm great. Great. It's beautiful sunny weather out, and yeah, we're raring to go for coming up on another good weekend of musical gigs here in Cape Breton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's great to have you back here in Cape Breton. You've just gotten back from a big international trip to Scotland. Tell me what you were over to Scotland for this past month.
I was over to Scotland for the Colours Festival.
Yeah.
Teaching Cape Breton fiddle
Good
and playing concerts. So that was quite an amazing trip for me.
So did you have some good students?
Terrific students.
Yeah.
Very, very hungry.
Yeah, for music.
For the music. It was really amazing to be there. It's all Gaelic.
Really?
Speaking Gaelic, and the piping was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I found out that this kind of sent chills down my spine. My father's dad's mother was a curry.
Yes.
And we done a genealogy, a family tree. One of my cousins did. I didn't do it. And my great-great-grandparents were married in South Uist, Loch Boysdale.
Oh my God.
Right where I was staying.
Yeah.
So that was pretty chilling. And I mentioned it at the concert when I played. And it was amazing to be there.
Wow.
It was really, really something special. And the week before that, I was in Seattle, Washington.
Yes, you were out teaching there as well.
Yes.
And that's at the Festival of American Fiddle Tunes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
that's
great.
That's a great place. Out on,
it's wonderful.
Out on the base, the Army base there.
Yeah, and I got to play with Barbara McGowan, which was a thrill. That's first time.
Oh, really?
And I spent a week with one of my heroes. I love his playing, is Alistair Fraser.
Yeah.
And the students were marvellous, and the people were great.
Yeah.
You know.
I could see you and Alistair getting along very well.
Well, we got along very well. I idolise his music,
Yeah.
Love his playing.
Yeah.
And
holy smokes, so that's that's a lot of trips. That's almost halfway around the world between the two of them.
If you add it up, I suppose it almost wrap right around.
And you were there to Scotland this past January for Celtic Connections.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. It was a beautiful festival.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. Being in Glasgow itself was a nice treat. I really enjoyed Glasgow.
Yeah.
My wife was with me, and that was nice. She doesn't always get to travel, with me. So I really enjoyed that.
So to get to go and do that together is nice. Yeah.
And meet the musicians and hear the music. This playing was extraordinary. Some of the jam sessions, actually, I got to hear some of the local musicians and from surrounding areas, and some of the young kids were fabulous players too.
Yeah. There's quite a wealth of musicians over there that are just so breaking new ground as well.
Yes, I'm very prejudiced to home though.
There's something
I think the kids here are great too.
Yeah,
I'm really proud of them.
Right on.
Yeah, proud of them everywhere, really. It's great.
Well, you're tough. Besides all those big international trips, you've got some gigs coming up locally as well. What's on the go in the next little while?
Well, tonight I'm playing at in Dominion at the Hawks Club. I play there every year. Beautiful people. They really, really enjoy the music there. And they always ask me back. We're playing with Mario Clausimo.
Oh, great.
You know Mario, of course.
I do, yeah.
And Friday night I'm doing my CD release with my brother Roger at Flavor 19. Beautiful. At the Lingan Golf Course.
Yeah.
Right up here, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday night I'm at a party in Forshoe, playing for a private party. And Sunday night I'm at, my goodness, I'm after forgetting the name of the hall. I'm going to be in trouble for this one. It's up in Indian Brook. It's a classical series.
Right.
I'm playing classical music with a fabulous piano player from, I believe he's from New York.
Mm.
And so anyway, I'm quite busy.
Wow.
Rehearsals. I got to rehearse a couple of times this week with Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
And David Perlman's the man who's made this possible. I'm a debt of gratitude.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. My gosh.
And I owe you a debt of gratitude for asking me on here, Don.
Oh, listen.
A fellow fiddler.
Oh, listen.
Great fiddler.
All right. I'll tell you, one of the memories that sticks out in my mind, I went to see you at the Red Shoe Pub a couple of years ago, and you played Tullochgorum. And anytime I'm talking, in fact, when I was out teaching at Port Townsend the last year before, I referenced you and talked about your technique, especially, beyond what you were able to emote playing that tune, but your second and third position, and your bowing. I mean, I stay away from that tune. I can't touch it, but you play it and make it look so effortless. It's just amazing to watch you play that tune.
Oh, thank you, dear. Well, I don't know what to say after that.
It's just
thank
one of those
you very
things.
much. It's the type of thing that I once heard one of the greatest violinists living, Itzhak Perlman, say this. I love his music. In fact, I saved my shackles, my money, and I flew up to hear him play at Roy Thompson's Hall last year. And I was just awestruck by his playing. It's the second time I heard him. But he can play anything, any kind of music. Him and Pinky Zuckerman.
Yeah.
Or they're all wonderful. And Sophie Motor. But anyway, Itzhak, I quoted something he said, which made a lot of sense. He said, if you learn something fast, you forget it fastly. If you learn it slow, you forget it slowly. And I'm quoting something that he said, and it makes sense that if you practice Tullochgorum slow,
yeah, you're
bound to, to get it better. And especially, the cuts in McNabb's hornpipe.
Mm-hmm.
You know how those cuts. My father, Dwayne Côté, he used to get me to play those painfully slow over and over again. Yeah. And I didn't mind it because I love playing. I love the sound of the fiddle. So I would advise anybody that's learning that to just play it slow, I don't know what else to say about
Master the technique that way, though. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. I've done that with the cuttings, but I don't know, I get a little scared of Tullochgorum, and especially seeing you play it.
You'd have no trouble playing that. Great player.
So yeah, I mean, the CD's coming out. We saw you perform with your brother Roger last year at Celtic Colours, and you'll have another performance with them this year too.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new album we're doing. He's going to be doing some banjo music, but it's all traditional. A couple of his songs.
Oh, nice.
One that he didn't write, and I believe a couple that he did. And some traditional music, some of my own compositions. And the cover is going to be interesting. Actually, his girlfriend's daughter won a competition. She drew this picture with the symbols of Mi'kmaq native culture.
Oh, really?
Different symbols, animals and land and trees, person, so on. And so we decided we were going to call the album Unamaki, which means place of the fog. So I think that's what we're calling it.
Oh,
something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. And we have some Métis influence in our family. Mm-hmm. The Côtés. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ashby Bay. But anyway, we're pretty proud of that, that we called it that.
Yeah.
With that photo that she done, or the drawing.
It's so relevant to Cape Breton. My gosh.
Well, we're very proud of Cape Breton.
Mm-hmm.
I know my brother Roger is as well. Mm-hmm. But I'm very proud of him. He's an amazing person, and my oldest brother, He's an amazing musician.
Yeah.
And he does so much, for free. He's even he teaches jiu-jitsu for free.
Oh, really?
Teaches people, kids. He's a black belt. I know that's not really relevant, but he's a great guy. He's very proud of him.
Yeah.
And honored to do a record finally with him after all these years.
This is the first one for you both together, right?
Yeah. So anyway.
Gosh, and you've had lots of wonderful musical collaborations, such as with Dwayne Andrews, and God,
Dwayne is wonderful.
You've played with so many people.
Great musician, a great person. He's
Yeah.
a great help to me.
Yeah.
He was not only a great friend, but when I was going through difficult times, and he was right there for me. He's a great person.
He really
fantastic. He's like a brother to me.
Yeah.
No different. I miss playing with him. But he's doing a lot right now. He's playing some bluegrass music.
Okay.
And I believe he's playing with his wife Erin Power.
Oh,
and they're doing some schools and playing and such.
Right on.
Hopefully Isaac, his son, will pick up the guitar or something. And if he doesn't, that's fine too.
Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to your show during the festival with Roger, and then we're also doing the show in Glendale on Wednesday the 15th. That, given that you were just over for Keolis, to kind of have some of the instructors over the years perform both here and in Cape Breton in Scotland. So I think that'll be a great show.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah. So that's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, I would love to hear some tunes from you, and
Sure.
if you'd give us some tunes, that'd be great.
Sure.
Sounds good. To see where Dwayne is performing during the festival, visit Celtic-Colours.com. We'd like to take this time to thank our sponsors who have been so gracious to assist us in the production of this podcast. Imagine studying music on a beautiful island known for its deep roots in music and culture. Cape Breton University offers a music program like no other in Canada. With an emphasis on traditional and popular music, CBU's music major provides an exciting alternative to conservatory-style classical or jazz music programs. Their course offerings are unique. The music theory courses are aimed at the needs of contemporary musicians and help you understand the music you play. In the applied music courses, you get to study with teachers who have worked with names like the Bear McNeils, Ashley McIsaac, and Natalie McMaster. Through work placements, you will gain experience in the music field tailored to your interests, whether it's studio experience, promotion, tourism, or artist management. Through the optional business minor, you can add smart, real-world management skills to the creative talent you develop. The ethnomusicology focus lets you explore local traditions, popular song, as well as music and dance from cultures all over the world. Their issues-based courses will immerse you in the debates that shape music today.
Explore Cape Breton Island's top 10 experiences. Plan your visit at cbisland.com. Your heart will never leave.
That was great, Dwayne. Thanks so much for the great tunes.
You're welcome.
Always a pleasure to be sitting here and listening to you play.
Thank you.
Good stuff. I'm reflecting now that we've done so many of these podcasts. I personally have seen such a theme talking to various people about, the importance and the impact of family, and certainly having the theme of this year's festival being family and friends. You come from such a musical family yourself and have such wonderful influences there. You want to talk about all the musical, especially with your folks, both of your parents?
My father and my mother, my father Gordon Côté and Gladys Stone, they were very instrumental, pardon the pun, in my musical career. They supported me, bought the instruments, listened to me practice. But my father was my first big influence. Dad was a great fiddler and he was a piper. Mm-hmm. Played the chanter a lot around the house. Mm. And he's piper in the Black Watch regiment. Mm-hmm. And he competed and stuff like that. But he kind of got away from it and stuck to the fiddle. But his playing was a great influence. And my older brothers, Glenn Stone, Côté, and Darren, and Roger, of course, and my sister Carol. But my dad was the big fiddle influence for me. They all influenced me. Yeah. And of course, Buddy McMaster, a dear friend, and a great fiddler. Always got me up, and Ken and Beaton always got me up to play when I was a kid during the sets.
Oh, really?
And Betty Lou. I don't forget that stuff.
Yeah.
Like how kind is that to get me up and encourage me, and I don't forget that stuff. Mm-hmm. They were always so gracious to me.
Well, and likewise, you do the same with up-and-comers these days, too.
Well, it's important to think of them.
Yeah.
I don't have any ego association with playing, other than it's just something I do and I love to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about the kids, and the young people.
Yeah.
And the adults that are trying to take lessons, encourage them, and, people say you're great, Dwayne, and I say thank you, but, you're only as good as your last gig and how much you're practicing, and, I never stop taking lessons. I still go to people for lessons if I'm playing something classical. Wow. I get a mentor and I get them to teach me and help me, and even fiddling.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm 44 and I still feel like I'm a kid. I still want to learn,
Yeah, that's great though. That's the appetite to keep progressing in what you can do. Mm-hmm. God, we could all take a page out of that book. That's great. Mm-hmm. Tell me, the sound of your fiddle is just gorgeous. What's the story on this fiddle?
This violin is called the Jacob Steiner violin. He was an Austrian violin maker. This is not a genuine. It could be, but I don't think so. The ticket is missing on the inside, and it has a robust sound. It's kind of similar to a Guarnerius, which I'm quite shocked that I would play on a Guarnerius, because I always was kind of like the Strad sound.
Yeah.
Of course, I played on 2 real Strads, but never owned one. I should have bought one a long time ago. But this is a Stainer violin, and it's much like I made a violin once. Mm-hmm. And
I remember you showing it to me. We were at a gig in PEI, I think.
Yeah.
Small Halls, and
I kind of based it after the Stainer violin.
Really?
It has high arching, and I'm not a violin maker. I don't make them to sell them, but it was a hobby. But I enjoy the sound of my fiddle.
Yeah.
I really like it.
That's quite a process too, to make a violin.
Yeah, well, when you're a real maker, unlike me, I got as close as I could. I read up, but it's very rough. You know, I did it with a pocket knife and a hatchet and 1 chisel. That's all I had at the time. I just done it for a project. I ended up recording my first album with Dwayne Andrews.
On that?
On that.
Good for you.
Fiddle, yeah.
Jeez.
I think it was that one. And the second album as well, I recorded some with that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to be able to say I've recorded with my own violin. Yeah.
Yeah, different. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where did you have where was the opportunity to play the Strad?
Andre Innes, the great concert violinist, I'm sure you've heard of him, about West, was playing in Antigonish in 1994-95. He was a young man. And I went to hear him play in Antigonish. I was living in Antigonish, and I walked in backstage where he was. Pretty arrogant of me. I wanted to meet him and tell him how great he was, and I said, "What kind of fiddle do you have?" He said, "I have a Stradivarius that's on loan to me from the government." And it was in a bad accident. It was bought from some guy down in Florida. The boat sank under the water, so they restored it. At that time, it was worth $500,000, and that's 1994, so
wow.
Today I'm sure it's worth millions. So I got to play on that one, and then there was another one that I played in Halifax, a lady owned one.
Really?
Yeah. And I also got to hold a Guarnerius, a genuine Del Gesù violin. It was Pinchas Zuckerman's. I met him backstage. He played at Pier 21. And just as I was getting ready to play it, his manager came and said, "We have to go do an interview." So he ended up giving me a set of strings out of his fiddle. He asked me what kind of strings I had. Pinchas Zuckerman did. But I didn't get to play the fiddle, and he gave me a set of strings for my violin.
Wow.
So that's how I remember holding the Del Gesù. So I never got to play one yet. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. You were talking a bit earlier before about tune compositions, and you have, I think, is it over 200?
I have over 200, maybe 300 now.
Really?
Yeah. I got to put a book out. A bit of a
I should say.
procrastinator.
Yeah.
I've been so busy playing that I'm on the go so much that I find it difficult to narrow down the time to concentrate on that.
Yeah. Do you have some of them written out, or?
Oh, they're all written out, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
And how does the inspiration for these come? Is it kind of do you have to sit and kind of get in that frame of mind, or is it something quite spontaneous?
Well, I also write songs. I don't tell many people this. I play the guitar and sing, but I don't do it publicly anymore. I did when I was a little boy. So when I write a song or a fiddle tune, it's usually something that's being evoked, an emotion, whether it's happiness, joy, or sadness, and that's when the pen comes. I started composing some classical violin pieces as well. I have them written down.
Wow.
And it's just an emotion, whether it's joy or sadness or whatever.
You have the ability to channel whatever that is.
When I'm feeling emotion, if I'm feeling any, say, sadness or emotion of some kind, I kind of go for the violin or something.
Yeah.
The violin, and that's when something comes out. But if I'm happy, it comes out too.
I'm gonna have to try this. I don't do that. Yeah. That's not my first instinct, so that's telling.
Well, who wants to hear you complain? So I figure I'll put it on paper. Yeah. And that way, at least I'm feeling and channeling my feelings, and we're lucky we can do that.
It's true.
I mean, everybody should write in a journal if they're feeling something.
Yeah.
Because I should be doing it more myself. Because our emotions are important, what we feel and our opinions about things. I love meeting people to hear what they have to say about their feelings about certain things or topics that are going on around the world. it's not just about me. I like to meet people. I genuinely love to hear what they have to say and about their life. And I'm interested in genealogy and history and languages. And I have no training in that, but there's all kinds of interests for me.
Yeah.
Life is exciting, even though I have difficult times. Life is still, people are interesting to me.
There's always
animals.
Yeah.
Places, food. Love food.
Yeah, I can't argue with that one. That's a good one.
Love food.
Yeah. And it's always been great to deal with your lovely wife. That is your manager.
My manager, Lisa White / now Côté.
Yeah.
When I first met her, I never dreamed she'd be my wife or my manager, but she does a very good job. Lisa's involved with her union, her local CUPE union, and she's in her job and stuff. I feel she does a very good job.
She does.
Thanks, Don.
Oh yeah, she's been great to deal with from the festival's perspective. And,
really?
And to watch, especially your career, and again like with Dwayne Andrews, what the opportunities that have come from that collaboration, and I know that those things just don't happen. It takes some business
for
work.
sure. Yeah, she's she's a big part of where I am today.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Aww.
Yeah, deserves a lot of credit.
Well,
a lot of the managers and agents and promoters don't get much credit.
That's true. Yeah.
The Brooks Diamonds, the Sherry Jones, I don't know where they're at right now, whether they're kind of semi-retired. I don't think they are, but all these people and yourself and Joella and Max and whoever else, radio people, television people, symphony players. There's a lot of people in the backgrounds that are making these beautiful sounds and beautiful things happen that don't get the credit they deserve. The volunteers at Celtic Colours or at Keolis or Celtic Connections, and a lot of people deserve credit that aren't getting it.
There's a lot of people that don't get paid, that do things that an event, certainly the festival itself, could not function or actually come into existence without the work of those people, dedicated people. And there's so many great communities around here in Cape Breton that put on parish dinners or community events. We're so lucky for that frame of mind that does exist here.
Yeah, that's right. And it's really around the world. Everywhere I'm going, I'm seeing the volunteers just digging in and, so on.
Yeah. Well, it's been lovely chatting with you, and I thought I always...
you as well.
I love hearing, because I have been working with the festival for a few years, but I have perspective from being an artist and all that, but I love to get a sense of what your favorite Celtic Colours experience or moment or memory has been thus far. What's sticking out in your mind in the last 17 years?
I would say last year at the After Hours.
Oh, yeah.
I had a session with my brother Roger. And I was playing on a violin that I built that had an eagle's head on it.
Oh.
And it's not, I don't have it anymore. Somebody bought it. But for some reason, he said to me before we started to play, now you knew my father, my late father, of course, Gordon passed away. He was my teacher and my friend. And Roger bent into my ear and he said, Dwayne, play this for Dad, for us.
Oh.
And something happened inside of me. I just went on fire. I think you remember that moment. They talked about it a lot. Something happened special, and it was really powerful.
Wow.
So I remember that moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
there was a lot of good ones, that's for sure, but
they're
all good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
If I'm not too tired and cranky, and I get lots to eat.
You're good. Well, that's the thing with Festival Club. We may
you guys do
slack
a good job.
on the sleep, but there is lots of food
there.
Lots
of food there, yeah. That's for sure, and drinks. And that's for sure. Good Cape Breton hospitality.
Well, where else in the world can you get breakfast from 1:30 till 2 the next day?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
I agree. That's for sure.
Cape Breton hospitality.
Probably the best festival I was ever at in my life. Celtic Colours, not because you work there. That's for things like that. Stand apart.
Yeah, well,
they're all great, but
we've got good partners, and the College Gaelic College is a great host when we're on the ground there during the festival. So again, lots of credit to pass around.
I understand you got a good fiddler working at the
I
Gaelic College.
suppose. There's a couple good fiddlers there. Eh? Gaelic singers and piano
Gaelic
players
singers
and good dancers too.
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Rodney McDonald's one of them.
Yeah, the fiddling
Great
premier.
dancer.
Eh? Yeah.
Great fiddler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
He's
true.
involved with the Gaelic College.
He is, being the CEO. So,
And of course you can do all that stuff too, eh?
well, I try a little bit.
Great fiddler and dancer.
Well, it's been so lovely chatting with you, and I thank you so much for taking some time out of a very busy schedule. So we very much appreciate that.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for a special vignette featuring culture bearer, fiddler, and composer Carol McKenzie. What's the story on your fiddle? Do you have any story behind your fiddle or where it came from?
Yes, I do. Well, as I told you, I worked as town engineer in Antigonish, and Jim Deacoff, a fellow that was there looking after the electrical, he was always telling me about the fiddle he had and the fiddle he had. Well, you know how many people come up to him and think they have just a gem and it's not worth. Anyway, he was telling me, I said, well, bring it in tomorrow and I'll take a look at it. So I took it in, went home, and it was about 10 times better than the one I was playing. So he came back and I asked him, would he be interested in selling it? And he was, and he said, I had in mind back then, that was what, in 70s? I had in my mind I'd pay $1,000. That's about like paying $6,000 or $7,000 now. But I asked him what would he sell it and what do you want for it? And he said, well, and he was really nervous, and would 500 be too much? I wrote the check out. And he said that he got that in a pawn shop in Halifax. And the story was a fellow came over from Germany during the war, and it was obviously marked up in the war. And the fellow said, if I'm not back in a year, you can sell it and do whatever you want to. So he kept watching for this, and he got the chance to come and he bought it. And that's where I got it, so.
And it's the one you still have today?
Yeah.
Sounds good. It's a dandy tune.